We're gonna have to pull out the summer redone candles for this one. If you're watching this, that means it's almost summer, which means we almost made it through the school year. Oh, so exciting. Now, when it gets close to summer, I often get the question from people, what should I expect on TBT during the summer? Or what should I do on TBT during the summer? So in this video, we're gonna talk about what you should do with your TBT store, with your Teachers Pay Teacher store during the summer, and then also what to expect during the summer. Especially if you are pretty new, then that's probably gonna be something that is high up on your mind. Especially after the last few months, I had so many people tell me that their sales went down in March and down again in April, and I truly believe that a huge part of that is just because of spring break and things like that. Teachers just not needing things over break. So I want to make sure that we talk about this before we get into the summer months and you're like, what do I do? What did I do wrong? Because you didn't do anything wrong. So let's talk all about summer. In this video, we're gonna talk about like your expectations, and we're gonna talk about things you can do during the summer to like prep you for next year. Also things you can do in the summer to actually make money in the summer. And at the end, I have two little reminders, so make sure that you stay for those. First of all, what to expect during the summer. So Teachers Pay Teachers is geared towards teachers, and in the summer, teachers don't need to buy that much stuff. So honestly, your sales are gonna go down a lot. Now that being said, there are still some people who are purchasing over the summer. Maybe they're teaching summer school, maybe they're on a different calendar than we are here in the US, which by the way, I've had a lot of international people ask. In the US, typically summer, or typically the school year goes from August or September to May or June. So for example, my school always starts super early and ends super early. So we are in school like the first week of August and we are done by the end of May. A lot of other, I think we're like one of the first ones to get out though. Most other ones will start mid-August, maybe September, and end, you know, in the very end of May or a little bit into June or maybe the end of June. It totally just depends on where they are in the country or in the world. Obviously in other places like in Australia, the seasons are flipped, and so summer is not the same summer, if that makes sense. So with all of that being said, you will still make a few sales, hopefully, because there are people doing summer school, people doing tutoring. There are also people who are homeschooled. There are people on different calendars and all of that stuff. So there will be, you know, hopefully a few sales, but it's not going to be anything like the school year, the typical US school year. For my store in the last few years, in 2019, in April, I made $520. In May, I made $397. So it already went down a little bit in May. And then in June, $213, July, $202. Now, $200 might seem like a lot of money to you. I feel ya, I've been there, but also when you compare the $200 to like the $500 I was making, that's where kind of the gap comes in that my income went down. It would be really exciting if, you know, that was like up, because I remember hitting $200 and how freaking excited I was, but because it went down, it just feels a little bit not as exciting. Same thing happened in 2020. So in April of 2020, I made $1,175. In May, $1,093. And then in June, $369, and in July, $449. So that was a huge reduction in income. I really believe that last year was even more prominent because so many teachers just didn't know what was gonna happen when we went back to school in the fall. And I think a lot of that, especially in 2020, was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, so I don't know what to plan for, I don't know what to buy, all of that kind of stuff. So expect your income to go down from whatever it is. It's probably gonna happen unless your store is super, super, super new, and then you might luck out and get to go climb up. But you're probably gonna go down quite a bit during the summer. That being said, some people are buying, like I already mentioned, if they're in a different school calendar or if they're teaching summer school or tutoring, or I also find that teachers are on Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube and all of that kind of stuff a lot more during the summer because they have the time. So we'll kind of circle back to that a little bit later, but I do want to put that in your ear that there might be more people putting things on wish lists especially, or sticking things in their cart that they might buy later, or looking and seeing what is out there even if they're not necessarily purchasing. Now, because your income is going to go down quite a bit, it might be too late for this year, but if you have been relying on your TPT income for bills or for anything important, you want to make sure that the months before summer, you're kind of taking some out and putting some into savings. So what should you do during the summer? Now, the first thing I want you to do is kind of assess what you want to do during the summer. I know, crazy. You get to think about what you want to do. But especially if you are a full-time teacher, I really encourage you to stop and think, what do I need? What do I want to do? Do I have the capacity to work? And all of those things. The reason I'm saying this is because I am the first person who will run myself into the ground working my butt off all day, every day in the summer. Been there, done that. I wrote a book in 2019 during the summer. Like, I get it. But this year, I already know that I am not to be able to do that because I don't have the capacity. I don't have the brain space for it because I am just so exhausted from the last 2 years is really and honestly what it is. I'm so tired from the last 2 years that I know that over the summer I need to take a real true break. So because I know that I'm not gonna accomplish all of the things this summer, and that's okay. The other thing is I'm taking a course for all of July, and it's like all day, every day in July. And that means I'm not gonna really be able to work on my store too much in all of July, which is a little bit sad, but also I'm super excited. So it's like, it's a, you know, is it good or is it bad? I don't know. So I know that June, I need to spend extra time relaxing because in July I'm gonna be busy with that course. And so you might have the same thing if you're teaching summer school or if your kids are home. Think about those things first and think about, you know, what kind of time you have and how you're feeling and all of that before you jump into any of the things that I'm about to suggest. Now, that being said, a couple of things that you can do, should do during the school year. Number one is if you are looking to continue making money in the summer, albeit it's going to be probably less, suggestions would be to work on classroom decor or to work on a couple of summer themed things. Now, if you're going to do summer themed things, I would get them out ASAP. It would be best if you can do them in May because people will buy them in May and in June to use in their classrooms. But if people are teaching summer school, then they also might be interested in them. With that said, I would not go and create a big, huge new product line if you aren't sure that people are actually going to purchase them. So instead, what I would do is I would take something that already sells and hopefully that sells well and take that and make it summer themed. So I did this recently. I teach music, so I did a solfege activity where the kids had to click on the correct solfege, and it's a Google Slides activity, and I plan to make some printable ones as well, but it was a template I already had. It was super easy. Once I got like the first part ready, it was really easy to just plug and play and plug and play and go and make a bunch of different products out of this one thing. And it's summer themed. It's already selling in May and hopefully will sell a little bit in June and July as well. I did not go and make like a huge new thing that took tons and tons of time because I knew that even if it does sell, it's not going to sell as well because it's geared towards summer. So a couple of thoughts for that: you could do like beach themes, you could do like underwater themes, you could do like camping themes. So take something, preferably if you have like a bestseller, like maybe if you have I don't know, writing prompts that sell really well. Make like a summer set of writing prompts, or make a camping set of writing prompts, or a vacation set of writing prompts, or any of those different kinds of things that teachers might be interested in the summer specifically. Classroom decor is also a great thing because teachers are on Pinterest looking at classroom decor ideas, thinking about what they want their classroom to look like. That's when they're, you know, deciding on themes and looking at stores and shopping at Target and trying to decide what they want their classroom to look like in the fall. So classroom decor can do well. I've actually talked to some people on TPT who say their best months are like July because of this. So many people are buying classroom decor themes that they sell really well, which just blows my mind. So I do have some classroom decor themes. I'm thinking and toying with the idea of making a third. So I have two. I have like a black and white one, and then I have like a map theme. That's what I use in my classroom. And I'm toying with the idea of making a third. I was gonna make one last year, and then I was like, are we even going back into the classrooms? I don't know. So I didn't. And so maybe this year, we'll see how I'm feeling. and how much relaxing I need to do during the month of June. The third thing you can do in order to, because we had classroom decor, we had summer themed activities. The third thing you can do to help boost your income a little bit during the summer is to create some kind of course or an ebook for teachers. So think of like a professional development type thing that you can market and sell to teachers. You can sell it on TPT, you can make it somewhere else, you could do like an ebook, you could do a real book. Any of those things are totally fair game, and teachers actually have time for PD and books and that kind of stuff during the summer and often do them. Hence, I'm taking a really intense course in the month of July. So this is a really good way to make a little bit extra money during the summer. I would, before you start this, make sure that it's something that people want to do, because especially if you go the course route, it's a lot of work. You could always do like a mini course or like a webinar or something that is a little bit smaller and a smaller price point, but if you want to go like full out, it's a lot of work. If you are interested in creating a course, I have a new video coming out, I think maybe next week, that's gonna be all about like how to create a course, like as an overview. And so you can definitely check that out. You can leave any questions that you have it down below as well. Totally don't have to do this, but if you're looking to make more money in the months of June and July, that is a great route to go. Now, that was like how to make money during the summer. As far as things that you maybe should do during the summer that are not those things. One thing I would say is really try social media / Pinterest. Pinterest is not social media. Don't call it a social media. It makes me so irritated. But it is something that teachers are on a lot during the summer. Like I said, they're home, they have time. So they're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on TikTok. Yeah. They're on TikTok, they're on Pinterest, they're on all of those different things. Now, I would not say go do all the things, but I would say maybe pick one that would interest you, or if you're already doing one, like if you're already doing Instagram or you're already on Pinterest, really lean into that, because teachers have time to be on it during the summer. With that, I would not suggest doing all teaching themed things in the summer. You don't need to make every single post about teaching, because they're not teaching. Instead, I would still make some posts about teaching or about some products, but I would make a lot of them a little bit more lifestyle-y. This is another question I've gotten, is what do you post on Instagram? You can post things from your classroom that you already did in the school year, and you know, post your products. And you can also do more like lifestyle-y things. You can post pictures of, you know, at the beach, or books that you're reading, or PD that you are doing, or different things like that, because teachers are interested in that stuff, especially during the summer when they're like, maybe don't even want to think about school. So there's that. Really this is a great time for you to lean into Pinterest or to Instagram and just get the ball rolling. For Pinterest, I would stick to teaching stuff, things from your store, all of that kind of stuff, because it is just more business minded than like Instagram is, but just, you know, bear those things in mind. All right, number two, something that you could be doing that you probably should be doing is work on something that you have been putting off. Do you want to know a secret? Mine is updating my TPT shop. I have switched my covers and even my logo quite a few times since I got started on TPT, and full disclosure, I never went back and fixed my old covers. So now I have a lot of older resources that don't look the greatest, and I know that I can increase conversion rates and also just like make my shop look better, because a lot of those older resources are my best sellers if I bothered to make new covers. The problem being that I want to make new covers by printing out the resource and coloring it and like doing all that stuff, and honestly it just seems like so much work that I'm like, is it worth it? But I know it is worth it. So one of the things I want to do this summer is work on that kind of stuff, the aesthetics of my TPT store, and just, you know, filling in any extra, like if I have 2 sets of rhythm cards but there should be 3 sets, and just those little things like that. Updating old resources is a great thing to do, or if you have a product line you've been pushing off because maybe it doesn't sound like the most fun, now you have the time to dedicate to this so that you're not pushing it off even more. So if there's something you've been putting off, do it now. If you've been putting off doing a blog or a YouTube channel, do it over this summer. That's a great time to really like dive in and think about everything and spend some time working on it and researching and all that kind of stuff. If you are interested in a blog or a YouTube channel, by the way, I have free email courses down below, both one for email, one for setting up a blog. So you can kind of see like, no, one for YouTube and one for setting up a blog. So if you want to get started, that is where I would then definitely click the links below, and that'll give you like step-by-step how to get started on either one of those platforms. Next up is focus on back to school. So back to school is a big deal, and that's where you're gonna make up a lot of that money that you missed out on in June and July. So think about what teachers will need for back to school, especially this year. They're gonna need a lot of remediation, a lot of things that are like for your grade level, but maybe a little bit easier so that they can kind of get back up to snuff, especially if they're like, you know, I have kids who I still haven't seen since 2020 because they've been virtual the whole time. We only had a few kids come back to school in February, finally, after almost an entire year. So focusing on back to school, think about, again, that classroom decor, think about other things that they would need for back to school welcome things, and, you know, meet the teacher night and all of those kind of fun things that teachers are excited for with back to school. Fun activities for the first day of school, getting to know you activities, that kind of stuff. The next one is one of my favorites, and that is organize and or plan. I love that summer comes halfway through the year because I can take January and I can plan and think about things I want to do, and then I get to summer and I'm halfway through the year, so I can see, okay, what have I done? What do I want to do? Are my goals still realistic? Do I still want to do my goals? Because I have a couple of things I was going to do and I wrote on my calendar that I was going to do that I decided I didn't want to do. Not because I was lazy, but because I just decided other things were more important and that I didn't want to do that right now, and like that's okay. So it's a great time to reassess what you want to do now. Think about the future, think about where you want to be next year, think about 5 years down the road, and just really dive in and like spend some time thinking about what is going to move my shop forward. One thing I love about summer is it gives you that, I call it brain space. I don't know if there's a real word for it, but it gives you that brain space to be able to think about things because you're not so stressed and so busy that like every moment of your day is accounted for. You actually have time in your day to like stop and think, what would move my business forward? Let me brainstorm ideas of products that I could do. Let me think about all of these, you know, product lines. What do I want my niche to be? Like, you can do so much when you have the brain space to think. So I highly recommend that you do some planning and some organizing. I love to just kind of like halfway through the year, especially July is that like halfway point, is the beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July, start of quarter three, where I can really think like, okay, what do I want to do to move my business forward? What am I going to do this fall? How do I want everything to look? And like, I can really strategically plan those things, especially on TBT. If you have been working really hard, you may be in a place you didn't expect to be. That's kind of where I am. I had really big goals for this year, and honestly, I didn't think I would hit them, but now it looks like I might. So I'm like doing better than I expected, which is great, but it also means that I really need to, you know, assess like, okay, what is still relevant? Because again, there's things that I was going to do that now I'm like, they're either not relevant or I no longer care about them, or it's just not a good time. So what do I need to do with the rest of my year? Just, y'all, get you some colored pencils, get you some iced coffee, get you some notebooks, or if you're fancy, you can get like Trello, you know, all those digital things, whatever. But get something and just really like spend some time thinking and planning and just all of that kind of organizational stuff that you don't normally have time for, because school is all consuming. It never ends. Except when it does end on May 21st. Hallelujah. And my last suggestion for your summer of TPT is don't forget to breathe. I say this when we do drum circles in my class. I always tell them, don't forget to breathe, and they have to go. It's hilarious, but it's a really good way to like give them some space to like stop and think. And it's the same thing for you. You need to stop and think and breathe. And again, I'm the first one who will work myself into the ground, and that's why I know this, and that's why I can say this to you. Don't do it. Everyone's had a really tough tough school year. But I think that mine was kind of compounded on the fact that I ended the 2019-2020 school year sitting here in this office by myself online. Literally, I didn't even see kids the last day of school because none of them showed up to class. So we'll see how this last day of school goes. And then we started the school year online in my office by myself, and the whole summer I was working on courses, and I was working on books, and I was working on products, and I was doing all these things that were really good, and I'm so glad I did them because it has made huge progress. But also I kind of forgot to breathe, and I forgot to actually like take a chill pill for a second and just like calm down. And so it was like I was working all the time, school ended, I was working all the time this summer, and then I worked all the time when school got back, and I never had like an actual break. And I really felt that this year on top of everything else. That's why I keep calling it the 2019-2021 school year. That's how it feels. And I'm so tired. But it's almost over, and this year I do plan to actually take a break. I can't just chill like the whole time, but I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna do a little bit of stuff. I might have like a time limit of like, you can only work this much, because left to my own devices, I will work all day, every day. Holler at me in the comments if you were the same way. You know, those Enneagrams 1s and 3s, I'm talking to you. And so I will just like work all day, every day. So I might do something like that, or like have it scheduled like this is the chunk of time that I work, and not work the rest of the time. I don't know, because like I still got videos to put out, and I have some products I do want to work on. I do want to work on covers, so we'll see how it goes. You have been around for a while and you found anything that has been successful over the summer. I would love to know all about it, or what your summer plans are, whether that is business related or just fun related. Anyone going anywhere cool? That's funny. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye. All right, so first of all, what should you expect? Oh, you can't see my candles. For example, for my stories for my store for the last years,